Your new album reimagines the 14 chansons by Jacques Brel. Chanson by
There you
Jacques
go.
Brel.
You did it in one lesson.
I studied Spanish, not French. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
What inspired you to create an album paying tribute to his work?
Well, it was like a cross between two things I do. One thing is I like to write books that haven't already been written. You know, like you come up with some plot and characters. Well, it's been done better than you're going to do it. So
Right.
maybe something new. And I found that Jacques Brel had never been translated, and there's no book of his poetry, even though he's a major literary figure in Europe.
Right.
But in the U.S., nobody can remember him hardly, and that's a shame. And then I have a project of keeping in poetic trim. By every Friday, I work on translations from different languages, especially French.
Mm-hmm.
And so now you see those two things come together, and I translated all 150 or so songs that he ever wrote, his chanson, chanson is a French tradition where it's a song that's like trying to become a poem. Mm-hmm. The stanza is way much longer than a song, and there's more of them. It's kind of like a Dylan song, really. If you think of "It's All Right, Ma, I'm Only Bleeding," those are insanely long stanzas, and there's a zillion of them.
Yeah.
It's like a long beat poem, really, more than anything else. And that's the way Brel writes, in his own style, though. These passionate songs that you heard tonight.
When you were translating those lyrics from French to English, how do you balance staying faithful to the original poetry with making them resonate in a contemporary context?
Yeah, and the thing is that there are translators out there. There's some songwriters who tried to translate his stuff, but they aren't poets. So they might not understand what he's exactly up to with this chain of images that goes through, but a poet would be alert to that. But if a poet translated his stuff, they might completely ignore the rhythm and the rhyme and come up with something that you couldn't sing. So now I have a background in poetry and in writing poetry and in writing songs, and in especially working in the field of songs that are like poems. So I thought I was qualified to work on his, because I knew what he was trying to do, and yet I would make sure when I came out and finished it that you could sing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So I listened to the melodies while translating.
This album features collaborations with Stuart Anthony and contributions from several musicians. What
Yes.
was it like working with these musicians on Brel's work, and how did their musical voices shape the final sound?
The final sound is in their hands. Stuart Anthony's wonderful vision. The thing is that Brel recorded most of these things in the late 50s, early 60s, and but with just, like the studio orchestra and some arranger and so on, the melodies and the harmonies are much better than you hear on the originals. So actually, we stayed faithful. Stuart Anthony stayed faithful to the melody and the chords, but brought up the sound to sort of a alt rock contemporary style, jangly guitars and all that, right?
Yeah.
So, does that answer?
Absolutely, yes, thank you. Couple more. You've spent decades as both a poet and a songwriter, as you've mentioned, from co-writing Song to the Siren with Tim Buckley to projects like The American Cycle. How do those two creative worlds inform each other in your music today?
Yeah, they interpenetrate. So I can't write long-form poetry without recurring to song. songs I love, mostly public domain songs, folk songs and things like that. And I also can't write a song without getting poetic about it and maybe using some symbolism or something else. So the two worlds are interfused by now.
I love that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Is there any questions from the audience that we could answer for you today? Oh, all right. I'll start. Or do you want to go, Margaret? You can take my camera.
So
Yeah.
you do a lot of translation. How many different languages do you translate?
Well, the only one I'm fluent in, if you can call it that, is French. But the thing is, I'm going to try to be brief about this, but I mean, we're a half hour, right? And how much? 17 minutes left? Okay, fine. All right. So in about 1960, so what happened was that normally, let's say French poetry is translated, or Russian poetry, let's say, translated by a scholar. And he knows the language backwards, and he gets the references, but he has no idea how to write a poem. So what happens is you come out with something that's really accurate, but you read it and go, what is all the hubbub about? Why, Boris Pasternak, why do people care about his poetry again? And because it's not a poem. But then you come to the scruffy poet, and he may not know the language. So this new method was invented mostly by Robert Lowell, a great American poet, in about 1960 in a book called Imitations, which you would not be wrong if you ran out and bought a copy, because it's one masterpiece after another in this thing. And his method was to get an accurate prose rendering of the poem by somebody who knew the language, and look at other people's translations, and then really write a poem in English that uses and matches the original. Okay? So, as a result, I've translated works from ancient Brythonic, which is the language that preceded English in England, also Chinese, also German, as well as French, and also Greek, yeah. But using this new method. Huh?
So what's the name of the book?
Imitations.
Imitations.
Yeah.
By?
Robert Lowell.
Okay, there's a million imitations. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing?
All right.
So you have what I would consider a really cool level of celebrity. I don't know if you're going to call it that, but you can kind of walk around in the world and you have anonymity, but you've done things that have impacted the culture. My question is, do you have like a favorite sort of needle drop where you're walking around in the world and you hear something that you did in a movie or a show or just even in an elevator as a memory?
You mean something that actually happened, not in a dream?
Yeah.
No, I'm not that famous to hear the. I don't think so. Oh, I'll give you one. Frickin' A. I wanted to go to see a ballet in Portland, with the Portland Ballet Theater, right? And of Petrushka. And it's by Stravinsky, a wonderful piece of music, and always ready to view that. And we're sitting about in the third row, and about 2/3 of the way through, they had speaking parts. You know, it was like an avant-garde production of it, which was cool. They brought in a guy from Europe to be the choreographer. And about 2/3 of the way through, they're starting to speak, and they're saying, "Did I dream you dreamt about me?" And I'm going, boy, that's a great line, you know. Wait a minute. That's me. And he did the entire second half of the song, reciting it with all these imagery. And so they said, "There's a meet and greet with the ballet company and the choreographer immediately after the show. So I went down and I said, hello. I am assuming that the sync fee and everything was paid for. No, I didn't say that. And I said, I'm him. And he went nuts, He went, oh, my God, I'm obsessed with your song. I've been trying to, stick it in any ballet I can. And I got away with it this time. So that was, I just trying to see some Stravinsky, and I'm harassed with my own work.
Are there any other questions in the audience? Oh, couple. Okay, I'll start over here.
Well, it was a wonderful performance. And
Thank you.
It seems like the pieces that you chose to sing and present to us today, love songs mostly,
Yes.
Brel, and it seems like there's a lot of pain and suffering and longing. Did
Yeah.
the guy ever enjoy any of his love life? Are there other songs that you've done where he sort of celebrates that instead of?
Yes, he has a wide range. But I would say that his most piercing songs are like the ones you heard tonight. Now, I Love You, that first one that I recited, that's upbeat. But yeah, the rest of them are tragic, to say the least. And but no, if you, I hope to publish the complete chanson of Jacques Brel next year with the original French text too, and you'll see that there's a really wide range of moods. They just didn't get as famous as the ones I did.
I was just wondering if you could talk a bit about kind of what went into Song to the Siren. That's just a song that I really love. I'd be curious to hear anything about like sort of the deeper meaning behind that song or anything that went into the writing of it.
Yeah, okay, so I'm gonna have to pass because every so often, like every 10 years, a song comes to me whole, like it's being dictated, whispered into my ear by an angel. I don't have a sense of creating it. I didn't think about it before I wrote it down. It just came to me, the whole song. I have the original manuscript, and there's like 1 or 2 words crossed out and replaced. The entire song just came. And though it was inspired by a real affair, I'll say that much. But I don't. If I wrote it, I was somehow writing at a level far above my ordinary level at that time. And this has happened to me subsequently. There's a song we're going to appear at Kenton Club on Tim Buckley's birthday, which is Valentine's Day. And I'm going to do a song called The Song. And it came to me the same way. I was just minding my own business, reading an anthology of modern American poetry, and this whole song comes to me. I should write this down. It's really good. Thank you.
Do you have a favorite cover of that song?
At the risk of being hated by all the people who've done covers, I'm not going to pick one. The original version on the TV show with Tim doing the little Bach-like intro that reproduced by Tim tonight, that's my favorite.
Everyone better go check that one out then.
Yeah,
Probably on YouTube.
yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to do a meet and greet up at the top if you want to take a photo and say hi, but let's give it up one more time for Larry, Beckett, and Tim.
Thank you.